Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to Healthy Waves, the live group podcast where we dive deep into the diverse topics with the help of expert guests and their insightful discussions. So, I'm your host Avik, and I'm thrilled to have you all of you join us today. And whether it's health, wellness, mindset, or the personal development, we bring you the best advice from the brightest minds. So, today, we are focusing on a crucial and uh, empowering topic, which is empowered at 50 plus. So, staying motivated on your health journey, training, and nutrition for women over 50. So, let's dive in and meet our incredible guest. So, our guest today is Dr. Lara May. So, welcome to the show, Dr. Lara.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Great. Lovely. So, Dr. Lara, before we delve deep into our topic and the discussion, I'd love to quickly mention this to all of our listeners that Dr. Lara is an Amazon best-selling author, international best-selling author, I would say, number one, advanced practice clinical pharmacist, and functional medicine health coach. So, with over a decade of experience in the emergency rooms and the adult acute care, she has a profound understanding of the medication regimes and the treatment outcomes. So, her own health struggles led her to explore the functional medicine. So, and since 2017, she has focused on identifying and addressing the root causes of the disease. So, Dr. Lara is dedicated to empowering her patients, my bad, sorry, dedicating, empowering her patients to take an active role in their health and create the lasting change. So, she has a particular interest in helping the individuals with type 2 diabetes and aims to educate and empower those affected by this preventable and reversible disease.
Mhm.
So, Dr. Lara also owns the Light Body Healing and Consulting, offering a holistic approach to health and the wellness. So, welcome to the show again, Dr. Lara.
Thank you. Thank you for that awesome introduction, too.
Great, great. So, Dr. Lara, to start with, I mean, if you can share your background in both the emergency medicine and the functional medicine, which provides a unique perspective. So, how did your health struggles led you to explore the functional medicine?
Sure. So I've been a clinical pharmacist since 2009, working in both emergency rooms and critical care environments. Adult acute care, you could say, would be my jam professionally until I got to the point where I just felt like, personally, for my own health, Western medicine just wasn't cutting it. I was just being told sort of like, this is where you are. I've had migraines since I was 18, but around my early to mid 30s, they were really starting to ramp up and get very debilitating, even interfering with my work during the day and the night. So, and then my IBS, which I was diagnosed with at 23, was also starting to ramp up. And, I was going to all these specialists, but there was nothing that was really helping. It was a bunch of what I call band-aid medicine, which is really, unfortunately, what the US system does for chronic illness. For acute care, for if you're bleeding or you have something broken or you need an emergency surgery, Western medicine is fantastic. There isn't really much better options anywhere in the world. However, for chronic illness and for things that, just seem to wax and wane, unfortunately, that's not where we shine. And, the pharmaceutical companies have definitely um, taken as much advantage of our, government and our system as possible. And they dominate it, to be quite honest. And as a pharmacist, that's, I'm under no illusions that that's not what's happening. But for me personally, that just wasn't the direction I wanted to go. At my, early to mid 30s, I didn't want a medicine cabinet full of prescription medications that weren't even really helping me. So I sought out other practitioners, other modalities, everything from acupuncture to Reiki to functional medicine. And what I found was that creating my own personal team of different modalities was the best approach that I found to support me through healing. And it wasn't a fast process, but it was definitely, I can say, truly a healing journey because I did get better. I learned a lot about myself and I
Mm.
learned where I wanted to take my practice to the next level, knowing that, yes, I can still help people again when they're in crisis mode, when they have severe infections, or again, like a physical trauma happening to them. But in terms of living that daily life, all of these things I learned that helped me, now I wanted to, teach other people because they're so accessible. Most of them are very simple. It's just a matter of piecing it all together and creating something that works for you. And where this topic that we're going to is that motivation. How do you stay with it, especially through the midlife changes? It is about creating that picture and those routines that are personal to you. So, reading, listening, but I wouldn't say like necessarily exactly copying what someone else is doing. It's again, what is that? What are the things that work for you, and streamlining and personalizing for your life, your goals, and what helps you feel better and your best.
Exactly. Exactly. So, the type 2 diabetes is a significant focus for you. So, and this is also very, very much talkative. Uh, I mean, what to say? It's a topic also, like diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is something which is very important to focus on also. So, what are some of the key steps that individuals can take to prevent or reverse this condition?
Yeah, type 2 diabetes, I feel like, is actually one of the most preventable chronic illnesses that we have across the planet right now because it is caused by what we put in our body and what we're exposed to in our environment. So, inflammation is the driver of all chronic illness. I don't care if it's hypertension, heart disease, high cholesterol, or type 2 diabetes. Inflammation is the driver. So it comes down to figuring out, okay, where's
Okay.
the source of that inflammation? And really trying to rebalance, heal that inflammation, but also take away whatever is triggering that. So, is it environmental? Is it your sleep? Is it your stress level? Stress is huge. Most people will tell you start with food, and I will definitely say yes. That's always one of the foundational aspects to look at. What are you eating? What are you putting in your body? Is it, whole, real food, or is it processed? Is it full of inflammatory oils or healthy fats? How much sugar, especially we're talking about diabetes, sugar is a big component. So, how many carbs are you eating every day? But again, all of this, you can have the cleanest diet and still be pre diabetic if your stress is too high and if you're not sleeping well, because those things drive insulin resistance. And so, this is what happens with a lot of women and men, especially as we come to this stage in life where our metabolism is changing, our hormones are changing, but our stress level has been up here for years, if not decades. Then we really start to see those repercussions. It's harder for us to lose weight. Our doctor is telling us, oh, your blood pressure might be a little high, or oh, your HbA1c, which is that number that gives you an average of what your glucose is over 3 months, is creeping up there. You might want to keep an eye on that. And you might be one of these people that's like, but I'm doing all the things that they tell me to do. I'm exercising, I'm eating right. And I put that in air quotes because it really depends on who we're listening to of what eating right means. Um, and yet the numbers aren't going in the direction that we want them to. And we probably are packing on some extra weight that we don't want either. And so that's where these extra things come in that aren't necessarily what we would think of first. Like, yes, food, but then especially if things are trending in the opposite direction that you want, what else can we look at? And so stress, sleep, morning routines, all those types of things.
Hmm. Exactly. Understood. Understood. So, uh, also at the same time, like, uh, how do you integrate the physical, mental, and the spiritual aspects of healing in your practice?
Yeah, so this also comes back to sort of looking at the various aspects that create our life. So, yes, we have the physical body, but then we have the mental body, we have that internal dialogue. And it's okay.
Mhm.
This whole thing is not about being perfect, but it's about striving to be as much in alignment as possible. So, being aware of our thoughts, because our thoughts create our stress, right? Like, even if, let's say, we work 12 hours a day, we can be stressed about that or
Yeah,
we can be relaxed about that. And one of the very big determinants of
true.
which side of the coin are we on are our thoughts. So, one of the very first things that I encourage my clients to do is really start taking inventory of the thoughts that you're thinking every day. When you wake up in the morning with your alarm, are you happy to be awake? Are you grateful? Are you going through a little gratitude practice? Are you having a quiet moment in the morning to maybe, like review your day or set some goals? Or even just have the quiet moment to say, okay, like center yourself
Mhm.
and sort of set an intention? Or are you jumping out of bed, hopping in the shower, grabbing that cup of coffee and running out the door? Or same with the kids, like putting all the kids' things together and put, like getting them in the car or putting them on the bus, whatever your thing is. Is it hectic or is it calm? And granted, again, this isn't about being perfect every day, but it is about like setting a tone and trying to set a routine of like being aware, because that's the first step. So we can take it more to the woo woo if you want, because I'm also an intuitive and Reiki master teacher. And so there's different levels of the energetic and the physical merging. However, if we just want to keep it very approachable and very, terrestrial right now, what are you thinking? Because your thoughts create your feelings create your actions, and your actions create your results. And so we can break it down very discreetly into
True.
those discrete categories, and we can really infuse a lot of empowerment into our day and what we're creating for ourselves just by looking at that piece of it. Because again, if we're able to control the stress or eliminate the stress altogether, best case scenario, then we have better control over our cortisol level. The cortisol levels that are increased are driving insulin resistance. So you see how the mind is literally created, or sorry, not created, connected with the physical body, which is creating, the results in our physical health. So there are definite connections there.
Understood. Understood. So, many women over 50 experience the menopause related changes as well. So, uh, how can they manage this changes, like through the nutrition and lifestyle adjustments?
Yeah, so I would say being a functional medicine practitioner, we like to look at not only lifestyle, nutrition, but also we want numbers to correlate with. So I would really encourage women out there that if you're having symptoms of hot flashes, brain fog, mood swings that are, even if maybe you would consider that normal for you, even though, if our hormones are balanced, then we wouldn't have those symptoms. So if you're having symptoms or if you feel like something's just not right, go and find a practitioner that will do some lab work for you. Check those hormones, check your waking cortisol, check, your thyroid, your insulin, your fasting insulin, and in addition to your glucose levels, in addition to your sex hormones. Find out where you are even if you're in your 40s right now, if things aren't feeling right, start now, because, perimenopause can be up to 10 years before you reach menopause. Most women go through menopause in their 50s, but that's not, that's not everyone. And so you can really cut down on the amount of suffering and symptoms and, again, stress, because when we're not feeling good, that's going to add to our stress levels. And find out where you are. That knowledge is power. You can use that to decide, okay, what supplements am I going to take? Am I going to do hormone replacement therapy, which can be done safely, especially with a practitioner that knows what they're doing, and take into account your history, your family history. So I would definitely say that, hormone replacement therapy should be taken into consideration and discussed with a practitioner. And then also to, let's look again, what are we eating? When are we eating? Are we snacking every 2 to 3 hours throughout your entire day? That's just keeping your pancreas pumping out the glucose, and the insulin that's going to take up that glucose that you're eating. So really, we should be um, teaching our bodies to survive on what it has available, and intermittent fasting, not 24/7, but at least a few days a week to start, so that our body, can use the resources that it has stored. So the stored fat, the stored protein. Also, it encourages what we call autophagy, which is your body eliminating some of the cellular waste products that it doesn't need, instead of storing them, because if we don't have good elimination pathways, then our body stores all that stuff. And then that also creates inflammation. It can even, create cancer, because elimination of estrogen, there's several different estrogen byproducts that, even if we're not on hormone replacement, if our bodies can't get rid of, then they'll get stored, and then they can actually create or predispose you to cancer. These are really important things. How much are you eliminating? How often? How? So it's not just about going to the bathroom, but are you sweating? Getting a good sweat on a regular basis is so helpful and important. So, that can be a good workout, or it can be a sauna session, or if you're in the northern hemisphere of the world right now, it's summer, just going outside and, sitting in the sun for a little bit and sweating is really good. It's a great detox mechanism. It actually takes pressure off of your liver to clear things out. So there's a lot there. I don't know if there's something specific you want me to focus on, but that's just a few things.
No, that's really lovely. Thanks for sharing this. Yeah. So, when we are talking about stress, so stress management is definitely crucial for maintaining the health. So, what techniques or practices do you recommend for women over 50 to effectively manage the stress?
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say probably most women in their 50s are, at least in the US, or, and the Western world, are probably working women, career women. They probably have children of various ages. And so they're probably pulled in a lot of different directions. So, one of the first things that I would recommend is to figure out how you can create time and space for yourself. And there's been some talk from different camps that the new age or the integrative world is creating this level of selfishness. But I would argue that, especially for women and even men too, that we've actually created a culture of overgiving and stretching ourselves too thin, and our health is the consequence of that. So you can't show up for your kids, your family, your job if you're completely burnt out, stressed out, and frazzled and fried. So let's figure out a way, a time to have some quiet time, whatever that is that refills your cup. Maybe it's going to get a mani-pedi. Maybe it's going to get a massage. Ideally, it would be going out in nature, finding some quiet time, reconnecting with the earth, regrounding, because so much of, especially with technology, brings our energy up here and out, out here around us. But what we really need to do is come back to our heart space, come back to Mother Earth, make that connection, just be in tune with our breath. Again, these are very simple things. It's not complicated, but it takes like you said, motivation or an intention to really figure out, okay, where and how am I going to do this and what will it look like? So I'm a big practitioner of yoga and meditation personally, but I know that's not for everyone. But if you've never tried it, I would also encourage you to try some things that you've never tried before, because you never know what you'll just resonate with and what will just click for you. And so maybe find like a local yoga studio and go to a yin class. So yin yoga is a very slow, restorative, gives you plenty of time to tune in with your body and your breath. So again, bringing that energy back into the body, connecting with your heart space, giving yourself that space to really, rest and digest. That's we again with the inflammation piece, our body can't heal unless we're allowing it to rest and digest. And so there's also the possibility that maybe you're so A-type that you're exercising yourself into adrenal fatigue. That's a possibility too. And so as we get older, we need to, be more gentle. We can still be go, go, go and balls to the wall if we want. Sorry, I hope I can say that. But but there needs to be a balance. And so, again, maybe it's in your morning routine. Maybe it's when you wake up, having that 30 minutes, maybe even an hour before everyone else in the house gets up to journal, to meditate, to do some yoga, breath work, your sauna, whatever it is. Or maybe you have some time in the middle of the day. Maybe you get an hour for lunch. Man, those people across the planet that get a whole hour for lunch break, it is such a privilege, because there's so many of us that only get 30 minutes. And what you can get done in an hour versus 30 minutes, you can really have some time to meditate again, recenter, reground, have that quiet time in a lunch break, or go for a walk after you eat. One of the best things you can do for your blood sugar after you eat is have some gentle movement. Go for a walk. If you have a dog, take your dog for a walk after you eat, or a partner or a kid, like get them outside and participating in some of this stuff with you, creating, those bonds. And when we have people around us that are also with us along the journey, it's a lot easier for us to stick with it. So also too, find a group, find a community, find a tribe that is, like-minded, that is, working towards the same goals that you are, so that you'll have that support and you'll keep going, because there will be days where you won't feel like it. And when we're building a new habit, it only takes one day of not doing the new habit to throw us off or to completely reset us back to square one. So I would also encourage you that even on the days where you don't feel like it, do something that is part of your routine or on your goal list, so that you can still be consistent in some way, shape, or form. So that's I'll stop there. I've been
Yeah. Okay, that's really lovely. So before we wrap, like, what one thing or some words of encouragement would you give to women over 50 who are struggling to prioritize their health and the wellness?
I would say find a practitioner that listens to you, that you feel heard with, number one, because
Mhm.
it'll make it a lot easier if you have someone, whether it's a coach, a functional medicine practitioner, an acupuncturist, even if you have a fantastic primary care physician, as long as they listen to you and they're willing to explore the pathways that you feel like need to be explored, that is so helpful and so powerful, because one of the most frustrating things I think moving through this area and time of life is that there's just so much noise that it can be overwhelming and confusing, and it might cause some people to go into shutdown mode instead of that keeping, being curious and investigating. So number one, find a good practitioner, maybe two or three like I did. Maybe, find a community of like-minded individuals that can help you be accountable, stay consistent, whether that's, a yoga class that you like to go to, or maybe it's a women's circle. I know where I live, I'm surrounded by amazing community of women of various practitioners, and we get together on a monthly basis and we share our modalities with each other, and so that we can experience different things and we can try different things. And that helps again with both the mind, body, and the spirit, all three. And so then the final thing too is, I would say, if you're going to start somewhere, start with examining your thoughts. What are you thinking every day? Because your thoughts are going to create your perception of your reality, and you have power over your thoughts. You might think right now, well, my mind is just running me all day long. But really, if you stop for a second and observe what's going on up here, you realize that, okay, I can choose not to think this thought, or maybe this is a thought I like and I'll keep it, but I want to add some also good thoughts to it. And that can be so powerful and so life-changing, because again, thoughts create our feelings, feelings create our actions, and our actions create our results.
Understood. Got it. Got it. Great. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this episode of Healthy Waves. I hope that you have found our discussion on staying motivated, training, nutrition for women over 50, both enlightening and inspiring. So a huge thank you to our wonderful guest, Dr. Lara May, for sharing her valuable insights and the expertise. So always remember that it's never too late to take control of your health and create the vibrant life that you deserve. So if you have enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends, family, or someone who actually need for this. So stay healthy, stay motivated, and catch you on the next wave of Healthy Waves. So thank you so much.
Hi, thanks.